Hello! How is everyone? I think I figured out why you can't see me well. This thing I think has fallen over or got really hot and warped, so you're just going to have to appreciate me with a nice, how would I say, romantic view of my, or blurry either way. So enjoy my mic looking really sharp. My face, on the other hand, not so much. You can decide whether or not that's a good thing or not. Okay, so this is going to be a bit of a downer, but I won't get into that quite yet. I just wanted to pop in and say hello to everybody and welcome for joining me, even though I'm all alone. Anyway, so yesterday I went to the cardiologist and I have officially been diagnosed with POTS, which is postural orthotic tachy, something like that, which basically means I have long COVID. Hey, Aunt Jo, how you going? Good to see you too. So, yeah, anyway, basically it means I have long COVID. I'm crook every time I stand up. My heart rate goes through the roof. There is nothing that I can do about it other than drink lots of water and have some salt. Yeah, so not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to continue on with YouTube, but I think you probably figured that one out yourself. So anyway, that's bad, but I will eventually, every once in a while, get on stream or maybe release a video or anything like that, but I don't think I'll be able to do the standing in front of a camera anymore and talk because, yeah, that's just a lot of energy that I do not have. Behind me, you will see Thyla being adorable, as you normally do. I also have to announce that, unfortunately, I had to rehome Lilith at the beginning of the year because she just got too bitey. I couldn't look after her. I couldn't handle her because every single time she would bite and rap. And yeah, you can't have a snake that does that. So I had to rehome her. She's in a good place. The guy that looks at has her now. She's actually a display animal in a pet store now, and apparently she's been able to have those two brain cells she gets occasionally collide, and she's starting to learn that you can't eat humans. So I'm planning on going visiting her, but apparently she's doing really well. She's just not as bitey as she used to be, which frankly is a minor miracle. So yeah, for any updates, I do have a new guy. His name is Kairu. I will introduce you guys to him eventually, but I just couldn't be bothered getting up and getting him right now. He is very adorable, so I'll do a dedicated stream where you guys get to meet him and get to know him. So that's another thing that I would like to let you know. All right, on to the issue that I am streaming. So I'm sure 99.999% of you guys know what has been happening in Palestine, and not good is definitely an understatement. Before anyone who goes, oh, what if that? Okay, Hamas can go get buggered. Same with the IDF, and frankly, the IDF more so. It is a genocide. It is horrific. It is evil. It has been going on for way too long, and I'm not just talking the past 18 months or so. I'm talking since the 1940s. This is disgusting. I'm horrified about what's going on, both in Palestine and the way our media talks about it. Normally, I try not to talk about current issues unless it has something to do with my channel and science. I try not to get into politics because it's just a thing that my channel isn't aimed at, but I can't keep quiet anymore. This is bullshit. It is, yeah. So anyone who wants to accuse me of anti-Semitism, no. I actually feel really awful for the Jewish people. I really do. Real anti-Semitism, the real stuff, not criticizing a genocidal maniacs, is not anti-Semitic. If you criticized Donald Trump, does that mean you're anti-American? No. Same thing with Israel. You can separate the two, and a lot of Jewish people do. And the fact that people are equating Israel with being Jewish and anti-Semitism is one of the most anti-Semitic things that I can think of. Because it just is, you're equating an entire group of people with this one thing. How is that not anti-Semitic? If you were to say that about any other group of people, all of these people agree with this, and if you don't agree with it, you are bigoted against this. If you did that to any other group of people, you'd be bigoted. Even if it was something completely mild or anything like that, like there is bigotry in there. Right now, we have in our governments right now, not just in the US, but other areas of the world, like Germany has the ADF coming up. They are real anti-Semitic people. They are the ones that are throwing out the swastikas, like throwing out the Roman salute and stuff like that. I mean, come on, look at Trump. He said a word I will not say, but it was definitely anti-Semitic. And we're not screaming and crying about that, but anyone who says, hey, the IDF is being awful, you're anti-Semitic? No, fuck that. So my nuanced take, which, let's be honest, isn't all that nuanced, is not every Jewish person supports Israel, and not every Palestinian is Hamas. To do that is just ridiculous. There are definitely Palestinian people who do not support Hamas, and I can't really blame them either. So, sorry, YouTube shows me some people who have POTS who have service dogs. Something you're thinking about? No, I'm not that bad. Right now I'm pretty bad. My resting heart rate right now is like 90 to 100 beats per minute, which is not great. But I'm not that bad generally. And Tom Jones is back, says United Nations peacekeepers would release responsibility from both sides, but hey, I've just been saying that for 10 years now. Yeah, it's disgusting to me that Netanyahu isn't behind bars. He should be behind bars. So those were my things that just before somebody goes blah, 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 blah in the comment section, No, I'm not anti-Semitic. I genuinely... I'll turn my mic up if I can. Hang on. Is that a bit better if I'm a bit closer? Or if I up the gain. How about now? Is that a bit better? Because that's as loud as I can get here. Tom? I'm just waiting for you, Tom. Is that a bit better? Yeah, anyway, so if I was a bit too quiet earlier, I was just saying, no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I do not. I think that all Jewish people support Israel. And I also do not think that we are, so I do not think that we should equate Judaism and people who are Jewish with Israel, because I think that is genuinely one of the most fucking anti-Semitic things that you can do. Meanwhile, full-on Jewish slurs, anti-Jewish slurs. So let's talk about that. Let's rather than anyone who's like, hey, Israel, could you kind of stop killing a whole heap of random people who are completely innocent? Can you stop that? That's fine. All right. So, I'm not going to play the Bob Vylan clip because we've probably all seen them, and if this has not been demonetized yet, me playing what he said, definitely will. So I'm not going to play it. But if you haven't heard about it, just look up Bob Vylan, Vylyn, not Dylan, not as in the singer. He's a hip-hop rap artist. Justin makes an excellent point. Also, people shouldn't equate the people and party in power with the whole country either. Not all Israelis support what their government is doing. That is true. I remember ages ago watching IDF soldiers beating the absolute shit out of Orthodox Jewish rabbis who were protesting against Palestinian slaughter. So, yeah, we should also understand that not all Israelis support what their government is doing. Pretty obvious. So, yeah, we all need a little bit of nuance. But I'm just going to say that fuck Hamas, definitely fuck the IDF more. Did I just get censored by YouTube? If you're hearing me drop out and stuff, no, I'm being censored by my shitty internet. So just be careful. If I keep dropping in and out, Optus has not yet fixed up the internet since the hurricane in March. It has been 4 months this month. Yep, 4 months. It's been 4 months. They still haven't updated it. Anyway. So if I drop in and out, it's because my internet's crap. All right. So the Bob Vylan thing, I'm not saying because copyright, blah, 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 blah. But basically he said death to the IDF. And I heard him, and it was actually pretty good. He's got good rhythm, good beat. I thought it was quite impressive. But that's what he does for a job, so I shouldn't really be praising him for something that's quite a simple thing for him to do, but I rather enjoyed that performance. And of course the people came back and were like, yeah, the crowd repeated it. So let's have a chat about how that is not anti-Semitic. So the IDF right now is committing war crimes. That is not a controversial thing to say. People, Amnesty International, all human rights organizations are saying that what Israel is doing is committing a genocide. I don't even know how many people have died yet, but it's over 200,000 now, I think. I probably should have looked that up, but it's just been so depressing. So I've been keeping my mind and trying to learn as much as I can about it, but You know, it's hard to pin down accurate numbers, but yeah, I think it's something like over 200,000 people are dead now from the IDF. Not only that, you've also about what the IDF is doing. A couple of ones that come to mind is they were shooting goats, or no, it was sheep or goats that were running around the rubble. They were just shooting them for target practice. That's Thyla. Hey, Thyla. That one just shocked me. Obviously, you know, using starvation. What a lot of people don't understand is dying of starvation is apparently one of the most painful ways to go. The one that really always springs to mind for me is the kid with Down syndrome and how they killed him. I don't want to read that story. If you want to look at the most horrific and traumatizing things you can think of, look up IDF Down syndrome. Yeah, it's not fun, and that broke me. Obviously, one of the more recent ones that they've done was dropped a 500-pound anti-tank missile on a cafe that was in the quote-unquote safe zone. That, you know, they go, oh, yeah, no, there was a Hamas person in there. Yeah, and there were also how many civilians? One of the awful things in there is that there was some women, they were really close friends, they had a falling out. One of them brought a teddy bear to make up. And yeah, that's pretty awful, the teddy bear. And another awful thing about it is also, it's one of the few parts of Palestine that actually has good internet connection. They destroyed that. There were sports people, journalists, all that sort of stuff. And they dropped a 500-pound anti-tank missile on that. Anti-tank. On a fucking cafe. That's pretty awful. There was one, look, I saw it on Reddit. Obviously, you can't guarantee that this is true, but it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. There were footage of some Israeli people just on the side, just outside the wall, you know, in the middle of a famine that they made. They were cooking barbecue. And I just was like, that's fucked. Sucked. So, and I could go on and on and on. If you want to hear more horrific human rights violations, there's a couple of people that I think you should go and see. There's Noah Samsen and Owen Jones. Very, very good. I've left links to their thing in their YouTube channels. If you haven't gone and seen them, you absolutely should. Yeah, Flame fan. Yeah, absolutely. What the fuck? Oh, hey Maya, how are you, by the way? Yeah, so there's starving people lining up to get food, getting shot. You know, if you support the IDF right now, either you don't know what's going on, you're only getting your media from very, very narrow places, or you don't care, or you do know what's going on, and you're a piece of shit. You know, so that's the IDF. That's what they're doing. That's what Israel is doing. So Bob Vylan yelling death, death, death to the IDF. That's like saying death, death, death to the Nazis. I don't think many people would disagree, unless of course you're a Nazi, and then if you are a Nazi, you can get off my fucking channel. So that's essentially what he was saying. Death, death, death to Nazis. Because they also did exactly the same thing to the Jewish people in the 1930s. So that's what he was doing. And the horror. How dare he say that? Oh, he's anti-Semitic. That's not anti-Semitic, by the way. Like, it's terrible. How, like, all of this anti-Jew hatred, that's not anti-Jewish, by the way. It's not anti-Jewish to hate the IDF. As I talked about it earlier, the IDF are not Jewish. The IDF is Jewish, but it's not like they're not Jewish. Like, how do I say that without sounding like it's it represents the nation of Israel that has claimed that all Jewish people support them and are good. Yeah, so that's how I would explain it. Not that they are Jewish, but because I would be very surprised if it was 100% Jewish, made up of 100% Jewish people. So, but yeah, that's what the IDF is doing. So death to the IDF is a person outright saying, I don't want a military around that will happily destroy people's homes, people's houses, entire families. I can't remember what the statistic was, but like hundreds of actual names have been crossed off the register from this. The average age in Palestine, I think, is halved in the past 2 years because of what's been going on. Like, yeah, I mean, I could go on ages for what's been happening. But again, if you wanted to see some more, have more nuanced and calm and less off the top of my head discussions, I've linked Noah Samsen and Owen Jones's YouTube videos below. They are very, very good. Their channels are very, very good if you want to learn more about what's happening in Palestine. So go and give them some love. Let them know that I sent you. And speaking of just shilling someone a little bit off topic, if anybody from here who's known me for years and years and years, you might know about Unholy Shade. They've started a new YouTube channel, Shady Shift. I've also linked that in the links below. Go and give them some love as well, because they have just gone homeless, and so hopefully they'll get a little bit of income if they can get their subscribers and view time up. And so go support them too. Should have said that earlier. All right, so death to the IDF. I think we can all agree that is not genocidal rhetoric, but what I am going to do is in the description. In the description, you will find a thing that I've linked. It's called Law for Palestine. Basically what they're doing. They said Law for Palestine releases database with over 500 instances of Israeli incitement to genocide continuously updated. Then they kind of lied last time. What I was thinking of doing was just reading all of these. Every single one of them. Just so everyone can listen to what is actual genocide, genocidal language. Just so we can put into perspective how a rap artist who has no institutional power at all, does not run any countries, does not order people around. He's just a dude who is good at music, talking about how they think committing genocide is a bad thing. All right, so I was thinking maybe I could read the last updated 15th of January 2024, the database of Israeli incitement to genocide. Date. So this is obviously the proper way to do it, not the American way to do it. So it's day, month, year, not month, day, year. I don't know why you guys do that. It makes no sense. Again, there is a link in the description below. So if you want to pull it up, they have it all. They have it all referenced and everything like that. So on the 11th of 11th, 2023, Yoav Gallant, and also if I misspeak people's names, I don't fucking care. The Minister of Defense, civilian harm, quote, I am saying here to the citizens of Lebanon, I already see the citizens in Gaza walking with white flags along the coast. If Hezbollah makes mistakes of this kind, the ones who will pay the price are first of all the citizens of Lebanon. What we are doing in Gaza, we know how to do in Beirut. The 9th of October 23, Yoav Gallant, Minister of Defense. We will end things inside Gaza. All restraints. You're allowed to attack everything. Kill those who fight us, whether there is one terrorist or there are hundreds of terrorists. Ordering to attack through the air, land, with tanks, with bulldozers, by all means, there are no compromises. Gaza will not return to what it was. The Patriots on Channel 14 episode posted October the 9th, 2023. The 12th of November, Benjamin, whatever his fucking name is, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu calls civilian deaths in Gaza collateral damage. The Israeli Prime Minister's comments come as the Palestinian death toll soars to over 11,000 people. The 7th of October 2023, Benjamin Netanyahu, Gaza is the city of evil. We will turn all the places in which Hamas deploys and hides into ruins. I am telling the people of Gaza, get out of there now. We will act everywhere with full power. 17th of November 2023, Benjamin Netanyahu. It is necessary to make cultural changes in Gaza, such as in Japan and Germany following World War II. Tell me how that is not genocidal. 14th of December 2023, Yoav Gallant. After making the northern part of the Gaza Strip inhabitable, the campaign will last for months to come and include the southern area of the Strip. So, yeah, talking about going down into southern Palestine. 18th of November, Yoav Gallant. Soon they'll realise the IDF's power, even in the southern part of Gaza, he said. Those who are on the western side of Gaza City understand this well and have already met the deadly power of the IDF. Those who are on the eastern side understand this tonight and will understand it in the coming days, and those who are in the south of the Gaza Strip will also understand soon. I hope. Am I still live, chat? Can you respond to me? Am I still here? Can someone respond? Just decided to crap out of me. Am I still around? Oh, I'm still alive. Thank you. Once in a while, just type in the chat, you are still live, because I don't trust my I do not trust my internet. Hi Pinball, how you going? All right, so I will continue to read. So this will take a while. There is over 500 things, and we're only up to number 8 of the first page. So buckle in, everyone. Benjamin Netanyahu. Aid is important for our allies to stand behind us. Without it, they find it hard to support us regarding their actions in the Strip. Writer note, this is regarding fuel entering the Gaza Strip for the first time since October the 7th. Agreed upon is 2 tanks a day. It is impossible to establish a military victory without backing, and that the cabinet insists on Israel's security interests in the face of strong opposition. At this point, Netanyahu explained that humanitarian aid to Gaza is necessary for continued international support for Israel, and without such aid, even if its good friends will have difficulty. I'm sorry that's buffering. Hopefully it'll catch up. Actually, I might close this because it's probably that. I'll get rid of it. Get rid of all of these, and hopefully it's okay. Try that. Sorry about that. So at this point, Netanyahu explained that humanitarian aid to Gaza is necessary for continued international support for Israel, and without such aid, even if its good friends will have difficulty supporting it for a long time, and it will be very difficult for Israel to continue the war until the end. Well, that doesn't seem to be accurate anymore, because they have stopped humanitarian aid into there, and we're still fucking supporting them. That's why when the IDF and Shin Bet jointly recommended to the cabinet to accept the war cabinet unanimously agreed to the American request to allow limited entry of 2 fuel tankers a day to the southern Gaza Strip, Netanyahu added. The amount of fuel that will be put into the Strip is a minimum emergency amount whose purpose is to operate water and sewerage pump, without which the immediate spreads of epidemics is expected, which could also harm IDF soldiers and Israeli citizens. The only reason why they brought fuel into Gaza was to stop diseases going and hurting the IDF. It's bullshit. Yeah. Fingers crossed, Justin, you're right. Hopefully it'll be smoother in the YouTube video. If not, I apologize for my shitty internet connection. Okay, Benjamin Netanyahu. One of the things that make the achievements possible is a political iron dome, and that after 43 days of hard fighting, international backing is not a matter of course. After mentioning the large amount of military aid that the US sent to Israel, he said, both within the US and around the world, increasing pressures are being exerted against us in recent weeks. He said that Israel repelled many pressures, including the demand not to enter the Gaza Strip, Gaza City, and Shifa Hospital, but Israel entered all of them. They pressured us to agree to a full ceasefire. We refused, and I made it clear that we would only agree to a temporary ceasefire, and only in exchange for the return of our hostages. Writer note, this came after questionable evidence was posted by the IDF in Al-Shifa and other places in Gaza City regarding findings and various refusals of hostage deals cited in this file and news in general. Yeah. 22nd of the 11th, 2023, Benjamin Netanyahu. Netanyahu again said that at the press conference there is no place for the Palestinian Authority to rule in the Strip after Israel withdraws from it. His words came at the very time when US President Joe Biden published an article in the Washington Post in which he wrote that the Gaza Strip and the West Bank should be united under one governing body, which will eventually be the Palestinian Authority after it's breathed into it. When asked about the words in Biden's article, Netanyahu said, "I think that the Palestinian Authority is in its current form and is not capable of accepting responsibility for Gaza. After we fought and did all this thing, we gave them the strip." So he's just saying, yeah, I don't think the Palestinians are able to care for, rule themselves. So what does that entail, Benjamin? 10th of October, Yoav Gallant, Minister of Defence. Gallant meets with soldiers in the Gaza Strip. "I have removed all restraints. We are moving on to an attack." Defence Minister Yoav Gallant toured the Gaza Strip today and spoke with soldiers on the ground. Gallant told the soldiers at the Gaza border, "I have removed all restraints. We have taken control of the sector," meaning the Gaza Strip, "and are moving on to a full attack. Hamas wanted change in Gaza. You'll have the right to turn the wheel against them," meaning turning that against them. Yeah. So, what removed all restraints? What does that mean? I wonder. Being 2.5 years later, what does that mean? 13th of the 10th, 2023, Isaac Herzog. "It's an entire nation out there that is responsible. This rhetoric about civilians not aware, not involved, is absolutely not true. They could have risen up. They could have fought against that evil regime." That's fucking bullshit. Because guess what? You're the one that started this fucking regime. So that's bullshit. That's very similar to the it's quite that's bullshit. Benjamin Netanyahu. This is what I blue skied. I don't know what are we calling tweets on Blue Sky. This is what I blue skied when I first responded to the to Bob Vylan's thing. It's like, death to the IDF is like saying death to Nazis. That's apparently genocidal rhetoric, but this isn't, which is, "We are the people of the light, they are the people of darkness. We shall realize the prophecy of Isaiah." Yeah, that's not genocidal at all. 21st of October 23, Yoav Gallant, Minister of Defence. We consider that since the day the war has begun, the final and complete destruction of the Hamas organisation began. When they say anyone who is Palestinian is Hamas, what do you think that means? Again, how is that not genocidal? Let's take that into account from what Bob Vylan said, which was death to the IDF, which is essentially death to Nazis, in my opinion. 23rd of the 11th, 23, Yoav Gallant. So Justin C says they're calling Blue Sky posts skeets. I'm not keen on it. I agree with you on that one. All right, 23rd of the 11th, 23. That's November, not the 11th day of the 23rd month. Israeli officials have said that following the 4-day pause, they will continue the bombardment of Gaza for at least another 2 months. Background information. This followed after the Israel hostages gathered with the cabinet prior to the truce, where some left saying that the release of hostages does not seem like a priority, which is true, which subsequently pushed Netanyahu and the cabinet to agree to a truce to release some and not all hostages. Gallant statements regarding resuming the inaccurate bombardment of Gaza without distinction between civilians and fighters comes as a reassurance for the family's feelings regarding the matter. So a lot of people don't realise this, but Hamas did actually agree several times to giving back the hostages in for a ceasefire, and they said no. Yoav Gallant, again, the 9th of the 10th, so 9th of October, 23. Minister of Yoav Gallant, Minister of Death. Under peer pressure, just call them skates. Just call them posts like a normal person. All right. Oh, but I don't know how to be normal. Okay, Yoav Gallant. I have ordered a complete siege on the Gaza Strip. There will be no electricity, no food, no fuel. Everything is closed. We are fighting human animals and we are acting accordingly. Again, can you explain to me how that is not genocidal behaviour? Genocidal, rhetoric. If you can explain to me how that's not, I would really be interested in how it's not. Especially we are fighting human animals and we are acting accordingly. As we all are very much aware, dehumanization of a group of people is one of the first movements into a genocide. And guess what? We're seeing one. October 23, Benjamin Netanyahu. You must remember what Amalek has done to you, says our Holy Bible. I'm not entirely sure what Amalek is, but someone can, if you want to look that up for me. I don't know what it is, but I'm assuming it has something to do with genocide. 10th the 10th, 23. It doesn't matter if you are American or people who have a reasonable dating convention. It's the same day. Again, Yoav Gallant, the Minister of Defense. So again, these people are the Prime Minister, Minister of Defense, people who actually have control, not a random musician at a music festival. We will eliminate everything. If it doesn't take one day, it will take a week. It will take weeks or even months. We will reach all places. There is no way that our brothers, our children, our parents will be killed and we won't react because we are a state. They will regret it. I will continue. 29th of the 11th, or 29th of November, 23. Benny Gantz. He's the War Cabinet Minister. This is a new name. The fighting will continue to and expand to any place necessary in the Gaza Strip. There will be no sanctuary cities. 4th of December 23, Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister. We're facing monsters who murdered fucking fuck. All right, hang on. I have to take a sip of my tea. Now I'm going to have to say this again. We're facing monsters. Monsters who murdered children in front of their parents. This is a battle not only of Israel against these barbarians, it's a battle of civilization against barbarism. I'm just going to repeat that first part. We're facing monsters who murdered children in front of their parents. Just let that one sink in. Isaac Herzog on the 15th of October 2023. It's the president. We will uproot evil so that there will be good for the entire region and the world. So, that is one. Hang on, let's see if I can figure out. No, it's not it. Yep. So that was one of the one of them. I mean, I could keep going, or I could make this an ongoing thing. Oh, not that one. All right. So, how's everyone going? How's my internet going? Probably terribly. I'll just let it catch up. Let chat catch up. So, again, I will remind you, and I will keep belaboring the point. Bob Vylan is a rap artist. He's one dude, and well, there's actually two. I don't know anything about these two people. I've only heard of them because of this quote-unquote controversy. The pearl clutching, it's so bad, it's so evil. I just read, how long have I been streaming for? I've been streaming for some period of time, almost an hour. And in that time, I have read over and over again multiple examples of actual politicians that can order strikes on people, advocating for the literal death of every single Palestinian. Justin says the Amalek reference is to Deuteronomy 25, which talks about the Amalekites' name being blotted from under heaven. Yep. That's genocide. Do you want me to continue reading, or have I made my point? Because I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. So, army personnel, legislatures, journalists and influencers, public expressions, former government officials, incitement since the ICJ order to cease genocidal acts and incitements. That one will be interesting. I might go to this one. All right. Excuse me. 29th of January, 2024. Again, if I mispronounce their name, I don't fucking care. So the 29th of January 24, Bezalel Smotrich, Minister of Finance. So this is since the International Criminal Court, International Court of Justice said stop doing a genocide. So incitement since the ICJ order to cease genocidal acts and incitement. Beelzebub, smoke crotch. The only way to ensure our long-term control of the territories through the establishment of a military government that will control Gaza and supervise the distribution of humanitarian aid. 28th of the 1st, 2024, Shlomo Kari, Shlongkut, because he is a bit of a dick. Shlomo Kari, the Minister of Communications. So again, these are people who are very high up in Israel. We must establish settlements. We need security forces. We need to settle this land because it's our land. No, it's fucking not. In an interview with Aratz Shiva, Israeli Communications Minister Shlomo Kari called for the settlement of all Palestinian land by Israel. Give me an example of why that is not genocide. Kari attended a conference in Jerusalem calling for the resettlement of the Gaza Strip, which was attended by thousands, including Itamar Ben-Gvir, Beelzebub Smoky Itch, and several other ministers from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's Likud party. So Justin C. said about the Amalek reference is Deuteronomy 25:17 to 19, if you're interested. I'm not. Well, I should be. I can look that up if you guys are interested for you on stream. 26th of January 24, Yoav Gallant, Minister of Defense. The state of Israel does not need moral preaching to separate terrorism from the civilian population of Gaza. He added, whoever is looking for justice will not find it on the leather chairs in The Hague. the IDF and the security agencies will continue to act and dismantle the Hamas regime, which is great in isolation, but anyone who is Palestinians is instantly Hamas, according to the IDF. The state of Israel definitely does need moral preaching to separate terrorism from the civilian population, especially when civilians walking down the street waving the white flag and then getting killed by being shot by the IDF. That was another really fun one. Oh, do you know, there's one of my favourite ones when it comes to the crimes of the IDF is there was a soldier who was sent to prison for forcibly penetrating a male POW, Palestinian POW. He got sent to prison for some reason, and the reason why I say for some reason is because I'm surprised they actually sent him to prison. And people protested until they let him out, and they did. Just let that one sink in. Just let that one sink in. The most moral army, by the way. Most moral army. 30th of January 2024, Chai Ben Hamo, Israeli soldier and rabbi of the Beit Rambam congregation in Modi'in, we killed thousands of Amaleks. Morally, every Arab is a suspect object. We are not moral. To be moral is to kill all terrorists after interrogating them. To be moral is to flatten and conquer all parts of Israel. Flame, my God, this list really does shock me. Yeah, and remember, as I keep pointing out, the horror, the international, pearl clutching over death to the IDF from a fucking musician. We heard about that. That was a massive controversy. Huge controversy. They were going on about how it was anti-Semitic. They were going on about how it was genocidal. It was all genocidal. They were going on about how upsetting it was to be a Jewish person hearing that. They were going on about, how we need to be more upset at, being not nicer to the Jews and blah, blah, blah. But, here's Daniela Weiss, the former mayor of Kidderman Settlement and leader of the Zionist settlement movement, on the 29th of January 24, saying, if we don't give them food, they will move. Yeah. So, here's a great one. Here's an Israeli comedian. 30th January 2024, Guy Hochman, Israeli comedian. Message to South Africa. Happy Hague, we continue fighting with full force. No humanitarian, no mercy with balls. Israeli with balls. So that's, yeah. Apparently he's funny. I don't see how saying to South Africa, who was actually one of the first countries in the world to start calling out Israel for their apartheid state after October the 7th. October the 7th attacks. They were the first ones to go, hey guys, this is awful, because South Africa lived through an apartheid. Message to South Africa. Happy Hague. We continue fighting with full force. No humanitarian, no mercy. With balls. Apparently that's funny. I don't see how. 2nd of the 2nd, again, if you are American or people who have reasonable date formats, same day. Sorry, I'm trying to lighten this up, but I don't know how. Daniela Weiss, again, former mayor of Kidderman and absolute cunt. Sorry, bad word, but I am Australian. she sends a message to Biden. Don't think that we will stop the war in Gaza and resettling the entire area of Gaza by Jews. A journalist will go. Well, I'm just skipping through because these are quite interesting. Because, again, with this context of incitement since the ICJ order to cease genocidal acts and incitement. So again, like Law for Palestine, the information within this database is compiled from publicly available sources. While translations are included for heightened accessibility, their fidelity to the original text may not always be precise. That's the nature of language. Law for Palestine bears no responsibility for accuracy or completeness of the information provided. The organisation apprehensively acknowledges that the statements documented in the database may collectively amount to potential evidence of a breach of genocidal convention. The ultimate adjudication of this matter is contingent upon the determination of a competent court. All right, so let's have a look. I did see, journalist. So the 10th of the 2nd, 24, Yinong Magel. Journalist, Magel, wearing a total victory hat, notes, yes, we want to take their land, to take over the area and settle down because that is the only way they will understand we have to beat them. Justin C. also says, some of the Palestinian population are Jewish, by the way, and that is true. That is true. Oh, let's hear from some IDF soldiers. We want to be slaves of the Azoulay family forever and ever. A video circulating online has sparked outrage as it purportedly shows a soldier coercing blindfolded detainees into pledging themselves as slaves. The Palestinian men were forced to praise the family and say that they want to work for them in sewerage and gardening. Some online users have stated that the Azoulay family is the soldiers' family. So yeah, they're forcing people into slavery. I mean, I don't know how true that is. Those people are probably dead now anyway. Any requests? Any requests? Do you want to hear about from Limor Sanha Melech, member of the Israeli Knesset, Otzma Yedut Jewish Power? I don't know what that is. Probably Jewish Nazis, basically. And obviously they aren't Nazis, but they are behaving very similar to Nazis because this is literally what the Nazis fucking did. Knesset member blocks aid trucks to Gaza. Today I arrived at the Kerem Shalom crossing to participate in a just protest like no other for the closing of the crossing for trucks transporting food, medicine and more for the residents of Gaza and especially for Hamas. At Otzma Yedut, we demand to be an influential part of the limited war cabinet with the understanding that the system is captive to a wrong conception that must change. It is not possible for the state of Israel to allow aid to the enemy while 136 of our sons and daughters are in the hands of the Nazi oppressor from Hamas. We in Otzma Yedut will continue to fight for the closing of the crossing and the return of the abductees with the help of God as soon as possible. Hey mate, just a quick question. If no aid is entering Gaza, then how can you be sure that these people aren't going to be fed? It's a bit like they don't give a shit about the hostages. They say they do, but they don't. Because if they gave a shit about the hostages, they would have stopped bombing Palestine. Yep. Just putting that one out. Here's another one from the Minister of National Security on the 6th of the 2nd, so that's February. Ita Ben-Gvir, Minister of National Security, Knesset member blocking aid to Gaza. 123 days I opposed the introduction of any humanitarian aid to the killers from Gaza. Gantz remembers this evening to agree in a weak voice with my position, but with a problematic solution that ignores the fact that in Gaza there are still 136 Israeli hostages held in substandard conditions. It's left for him to align himself with the rest of my firm positions. No for a promiscuous deal and no for stopping the war. From what I understand, the Gazan, the Hamas people were actually quite civil. I mean, of course, they're hostages. They were in prison, essentially. They were held against their will. But from what I understand, that they were quite well looked after, going by, how prisoners of war should be looked after. However, a lot of the Palestinians that were released in the hostage trade were not. Again, I must remind you that a prisoner, a soldier who was sent to jail for forcibly entering a Palestinian man was released after people were protesting his jailing. I mean, that's pretty disgusting. All right, let's read this long one from Itamar Ben-Gvir, Minister of National Security. Forced displacement or genocidal intent. So this is the 8th of February 2024. Minister of National Security encourages forced displacement in an interview to the Knesset channel. First of all, we need to subdue the enemy and defeat him. First of all, we need to win this war in Gaza and see it through to the end. In Gaza, I also want to encourage voluntary immigration, of course. I wonder what that sounds like with voluntary deportation in another country that is also turning into a Nazi regime. I think it is a humanitarian solution in the end. In the end, you'll end up with many Gazans who will not emigrate voluntarily. What will you do with them? Ben-Gvir. I think that if we decide, a large part of them will want to emigrate voluntarily. Interviewer. And if not, Ben-Gvir. I'm sure that if we subdue Hamas, if we win, but a real victory, and not be neither here nor there, but go with this victory till the end, a large part of them will want to emigrate. Interviewer. You are actually forcing them, you should say. You package it in some nice wording of voluntary immigration, but in the end, you're expelling them if you are doing so by applying pressure. Ben-Gvir. You don't know how many Gazans there are today who say, we want to get out of here. There are some there who are willing to sell a kidney just to get out of there. Interviewer. What do you do with those who stay? Ben-Gvir. I assume that if we win, most of them will agree to emigrate voluntarily. Now in Judea and Samaria, I'll say it in the simplest way. No more relying on the PA, the same PA of terrorists. We haven't we seen what's happening? Didn't we see where this has led us? It's the same old concept. After all, 82% of them support the massacre. After all, the authority itself distributes money to those who murdered. There is no such thing. Someone who murders a Jew receives money from the authority. The education system broadcasts murder and massacre. So what? There is no more PA. Cancel the PA. No to supporting them. No to strengthening them. They will fall, and we should be the owners of the house in Judea and Samaria. Okay. Because we are all really upset about a guy who was a musician leading a chant, basically saying death to Nazis. I just want to point out that they're building a concentration camp in Palestine. Like, they're actually talking about building one. I think they've even started, where Palestinians will just go there and they're not allowed to leave. Yeah, that's something that I'm pretty sure most of you haven't heard of, because, yeah, we're just really upset about a claim that the IDF came out that on October the 7th, and it's funny how it came out now, by the way. It's funny how it came out now that that Hamas did sexual violence against the Jewish people. Again, of course, Israel has not actually released evidence in the same way they didn't release evidence of beheaded babies after the October 7th attack, because there wasn't any. But there's been an increase of awareness. I'm not sure when this report came out, but there's at least a lot more people reporting on a report that has come out that yes, the IDF has been using gender-based violence against Palestinian people, and people are becoming aware of that. That was in Owen Jones's video about how J.K. Rowling retweeted him and attacked him. You should go and watch it. It's very interesting. Hey, Bree, how you going? Really me, I know I'm streaming from shitty internet. So yeah, so it's a bit of a downer. From Yinon Miguel, who is a journalist, or would you prefer? Oh, I'll read both of them. So Itamar Fleshman, again, I do not care that I'm mispronouncing their name because fuck them. The 10th of the 2nd, 2024. By the way, Bree, I'm just reading. I'm comparing Bob Vylan's chant of death, death, death to the IDF that had international media condemnation of it being awful and incitement to harm and incitement to violence and incitement to genocide and anti-Semitism. And I'm just going to compare that his chants to journalists and high-ranking Israeli politicians, people who actually have sway over what's happening in Palestine. I'm just reading a couple of things that they've said about Palestine, and we'll have a chat. We'll have a chat about just kind of putting into perspective of a guy essentially saying fuck Nazis versus what these people are saying about an entire group of human beings. So we'll do the journalist TV. We'll do these two. Itamar Fleshman on the 10th of the 2nd, 24. In an episode of The Patriots Show on Channel 14, posted on February the 10th. We're not leaving Gaza. You will continue to starve. You will continue to die. Your houses will continue to burn. Your children will continue to live in mud and nylon until the last of the abductees come back here. Okay, that's a lot less violent than death, death, death to the IDF. Destroying an entire country is much worse, apparently. And the 10th of the 2nd, 24, Yinong Magal, journalist in the same Patriots show, said, yes, we say we want to take their land, take their territory and settle in it, because that's the only way they'll understand that we defeated them. They don't care about the houses. They don't care about the dead. They don't care about anything except the land. Bullshit. By the way, I'm just a little bit more context. This is things that were said after the ICJ ordered to cease genocidal acts against Palestinian people. Just to put that little bit of context to this one. So there's a link to a webpage in the description. The IDF ones are always juicy. 2nd of the 2nd, 2024, the IDF soldier displacement says, we're headed to Jerusalem with a drawing of the Jewish temple that far-right Israelis plan to build on the ruins of the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem. So another, Haya Ben Hamo, which is an IDF soldier, I'm leaving Khan Yunis now with mixed feelings. On the one hand, I'm very happy. We're not in a period of programming that slaughtered, raped and abused us without response. Yeah, let that one sink in. God willing, we destroyed a huge area for them. We killed tens of thousands of Amalekites in them. On the other hand, we have not yet become a moral army, and this is the real war of the state of Israel. Everything else will work out easily later. It is moral to understand that every Arab is a suspicious object. Maybe he is good, maybe he is a bomb, but he is suspicious. It is moral to execute all terrorists after interrogating them. It is moral to conquer and settle all parts of the land of Israel and any place where we leave any remnants that will take revenge on us sooner or later. This understanding is a lifesaver. We must understand it with our intellect before the enemy explains it to us with blood, God forbid. Good luck to all of us and to all the people of Israel in this great and important campaign. The same dude, the same IDF soldier also said, "We are leaving Khan Yunis. Congratulations, with God's help, we only will leave as normal citizens, that the people of Israel will enter here more and more. Not only the army, but rather a settlement, government, security. Congratulations, leaving Gaza." Again, I really want to stress, a musician with no institutional power got absolutely ripped apart in mainstream media for saying death to the IDF. Obliterate the memory of Amalek, don't forget. That's a slogan seen on Israeli buses. An IDF soldier, Ben Sabag, referring to a stray dog searching for food, described it as the only uninvolved citizen in Gaza. Yedua Lopez, IDF soldier, there are no innocents there. We have to get that into our heads. No innocents, yes, that no one remains. So apparently even newborn babies are not innocent, according to them. Settlers, Israeli citizens. The settler celebrates the blocking of aid trucks to Gaza. What a dazzling success. Today it happened, and it's thanks to you. We called you, we asked. You were here with us, and look at this achievement. The trucks are standing here, loaded full of food, water supplies, everything that Hamas needs. But it will not reach Hamas's hands today because we are here and we stopped it. There are more trucks along the border, 132 trucks that have been stopped, and Hamas is going to bed hungry today. But we are going to continue to do these actions to ensure that this thing is stopped for good. We think that these actions will reach the top and make the long-awaited change. Join the groups, be with us, follow the events. No aid should go through until the last of the abductees returns. Yeah. Again, I think I've made a point. It's fucked. It's absolutely fucked. I thought I was going to be able to read all 500 of them. I can't. Oops. Give me a moment. Hopefully this will load with my shitty internet. BBC. So BBC is very pro-Israel, by the way. I probably should have done Al Jazeera because they actually have decent reporting, but I'll go with the BBC. Mohammed Bar was distressed by the sound of shelling in his neighborhood, says his mother. Gaza man with Down syndrome attacked by IDF dog and left to die, mother tells BBC. How about IDF dog attacks Gazan man with Down syndrome? How about IDF dog attacks and kills Gaza man with Down syndrome. That's probably a better one. And what does this say? It's not going down. Oh, you can do it, computer. Why is this page down? No, it's not. It's frozen. Fuck. All right. Try not that. Let's IDF. Al Jazeera. Okay. I don't want to go to Twitter. It might be this one. A different one. Video shows Israeli soldiers chasing a 52-year-old Palestinian man with an intellectual disability, throwing him to the ground and kicking him during a raid on the Al-Fawa refugee camp. But that's not the one I'm looking for. What was his name? Mohammed Bar. M-U-H. Med. Bar. Bar. Israeli soldier says it's his job to find 5-year-old. Okay, maybe it's this New Arab. I'm not entirely sure how accurate this is. Again, my internet is kind of shite. Yes, Ereshkin Get Ray. Oof, I remember this one. This one's fucked up. All right, yay! It is. It's rolling. Okay. Since finding her son lying dead on the floor after being mauled by a combat dog and leashed by Israeli soldiers last week, Nabila Bar, 70, has struggled to return to her home in Gaza's Shuaijah neighborhood. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Mohammed Bar, 24, who had Down syndrome, held a special place in his mother's heart, who described him as innocent and someone who only spoke a few words. On 4th of July, Israeli forces stormed the home they were sheltering in, located in eastern Gaza City, with dogs being set on Mohammed. The dog sank its fangs into his chest and then into his shoulder. I saw a fountain of blood coming out of him as he helplessly tried to push the dog away, Bahar told the New Arab. She says her son was very affectionate, despite not speaking a lot, and that during the attack her other sons were beaten with rifles, ordered to leave the house, or were detained. After Israeli forces withdrew from the home around a week later, some of the family returned to see Mohammed's body decomposed on the floor. Mohammed used to call everyone dear, Bahar said. He even told the dog, "Dear, please stop," when it was attacking him, she said, saying that the scene is something she won't be able to forget. When Mohammed was 4, Bahar explained that she put him in the centre of that cared for children with special needs, thinking it would help him develop further. However, every day he would return upset, his body covered with bruises from other children. He was placed in a section for autistic children. I told them my child doesn't suffer from autism, but they didn't care. I started to notice his mental level was deteriorating, and he was no longer speaking, apart from a few words, so I took him out of the centre and looked after him at home. Surrounded by his siblings at home, Mohammed was doted on and enjoyed dancing, food, and playing with others. He laughed for no reason and cried for no reason. That is how Mohammed was. He was innocent and loved life. If someone treated him kindly, he loved him and called him dear, and if somebody treated him harshly, he turned away from him angrily and didn't speak to him at all, his older brother Mikhail, 42, said. Mohammed never went to school because of the trauma he experienced when he was at the centre, with his mother choosing instead to homeschool him instead. Bahar is still reeling from the killing of her son, who she says she was not able to bury or give a funeral. Even before the start of the war in Gaza on the 7th of October, the family had felt the impact of Israel's results on Gaza. Bahar's husband was killed in 2002 by Israeli bullets in the Al-Mantar area, with Muhammad being only 2 years old at the time. She was forced to raise her 9 children alone and was also forcibly displaced many times. Muhammad was everyone's favourite. Everyone loved him and treated him with kindness. It was to the point to if he got sick, we would bring the doctor home so he didn't have to go to the hospital, Mikhail said. While some of Muhammad's siblings remain detained by Israeli forces, the others are grappling with his memory. Muhammad is the blessing of the house. He was always smiling and happy. I couldn't say goodbye to him because I was displaced in the southern Gaza Strip. I was heartbroken when I learned what happened. As the dog was tearing him apart, he was saying, "Dear, please stop." I'm going to the Wikipedia page because it's pretty, Wikipedia, as much as people hate it, actually is quite accurate. They found that it's more accurate than a lot of other actual encyclopedias. So don't brush off Wikipedia. Since the start of the Israeli invasion of the Gaza Strip of the Gaza War, Bahar's family said they'd been displaced at least 6 times and had to evacuate 15 times, escaping from Israeli bombing of the Gaza Strip. On the 27th of June, the fighting returned to Shujaiya, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, during the second battle of Shujaiya, and the Israeli military ordered the residents to evacuate. By then, the Bahrs were weary from moving. In July 2024, the Bahr family was hiding one of their relatives' house in the neighborhood of Gaza City, where the Israeli military was in pursuit of Hamas fighters. The Bahr family said they were under siege for 7 days as Israeli forces surrounded the house, and that Muhammad panicked at the sounds of shells and fighter jets surrounding them, which is perfectly okay. On the 3rd of July 2024, the family said an Israeli military unit raided their house in Nazaz Street. The unit consisted of several dozen soldiers and a combat dog used to check for explosive booby traps and to find Hamas fighters. The dog, which was sent in the house, first began attacking Bahar. Muhammad's mother, Nabila, recorded that Israeli forces smashed everything in the house when they broke in. When the soldiers arrived in their room, she told them, he's disabled, have mercy on him, he's disabled, keep the dog away from him." His mother also recalled how the dog proceeded to attack Muhammad, biting his chest and hand, leaving him bleeding. She said that Muhammad, who had speech difficulties, was screaming at the dog, saying, "Walla, walla, hey you," and other times, "Khalas ya bibi, enough my dear." The BBC reported that he was patting the dog's head. The mother said that Israeli soldiers then took Muhammad to another room away from the dog, while pointing their guns at the rest of the family and telling them that a military doctor would soon arrive. The soldiers tried to treat his wound. They wouldn't let his family go into family. By the way, the soldiers tried to treat his wound, and a military doctor came later. After several hours, Israeli soldiers ordered the Bahr family to leave at gunpoint and arrested 2 of Muhammad's brothers, who were not released by the 17th of July 2024, according to the family. The rest of the family said they sought shelter at a damaged building nearby. Apparently, they wouldn't let his family go and check on him, and he was just moaning in pain. And they were like, let me see, and they wouldn't. And then the doctor came in and the moaning stopped, and then they said, "Hey, can we see him? He's gone. You must leave." That's not what was in that. And they came back. And it was covered in maggots. You're going to tell me that they're a fucking moral? You're going to tell me that the most moral person with Down syndrome, they're obviously disabled. So yeah, death to the fucking IDF. This war is fucked. War is fucked. We should all be more aware of what's going on in Israel and Palestine and Ukraine, the US, the Uyghur Muslims. But yeah. Benjamin Netanyahu should be behind fucking prison. Should be behind bars. And yet, no country has agreed, even though it's you have to, under international law, nobody is agreed to arrest him. If he comes to Australia, he's fine. If he goes to America, Spain, Italy, he's fine. He's not going to get arrested. Remember Muhammad Bakr. However you pronounce his name, I'm sorry. But remember him. Every time someone tells you that you're anti-Semitic for opposing what's happening over in Palestine, remember you're not. Because anyone who is decent, anyone with a sense of empathy and love for anyone who is a human being would be opposing this too. Anyway, I've probably talked for too long now. For me, that was when the IDF went from really bad to unconscionably evil when I read that story. I mean, just doing target practice on goats and people waving the white flag is pretty fucking evil, but that's when they went from fucking evil to unconscionably. Anyway. So if you're wondering about my stance in Palestine, there you've got it. Anyway, thank you everyone for being. Don't get distracted. The people who will tell you that how badly treated people are. Oh, hugs back. Thank you, Bree. Thank you. I do appreciate it. I'm feeling them. Yeah. It was a rough read. Every time I think about what's happened with Muhammad, every time I think about what happened with him, especially the fact that he was saying, "That's enough, dear," and he was patting the dog as it was mauling him. Like, oh, holy shit. It was when the reports first came out, it was misreported that was the first time he spoke. But he was able to say things like food and water, so it wasn't the first time. But it was still pretty fucked. Yeah. But as let's try and come back on a more positive note, hey? We can still do things about it. Be politically involved. Just be aware. You know, most of you, I would say, if you've watched this, would be aware of how fucked up this whole thing is. Read that document that I put in the description, where it's talking about the genocidal calls to violence against the Palestinian people, and just read through it and remember that. Just be aware. Watch Noah Samsen, watch Owen Jones stuff if you want to become more aware of what's going on. And yeah, that's, I mean, there's not a lot we can do, but, you know, at least be aware. I'll get Thyla out. Everyone needs a Thyla break. Come here, girl. The internet needs you. Ah. No, she says no. Come on. Ah. Thyla break. All right. And also go and subscribe to Shade's new channel. Go give them some love. As I said, they just recently became homeless, and hopefully they can get enough money and like enough views and stuff to start monetizing their new channel. It's Shady Shift, one word, because autocorrect is not your friend. I made up that. Yeah. I hope you guys stay safe. The world is rough. Make friends with your neighbours. Neighbours enjoy free food, so if you can go and bake them some bread or something like that, go and give them free food, and they will appreciate it. Go make something. Go play a game. Yeah, she's pretty cute. Go hug your friends and family. And remember, even though the world is pretty horrible right now, there is still love and joy and beauty. And hold on to that. Even if it's just a danger noodle, being all adorable and cute. The world is good. In a whole, we hear about the bad things, but as a whole, the world, people are good. Anyway, sorry for doing that to you. I love you all very much, and don't forget, don't give yourself the raw prawn.